we are reacting to Mike Morhaime and its interview he had with PC Gamer about how he is recapturing Blizzard's magic. Is that even really feasible in today's day and age? Can the Blizzard of old even be brought back? Now, Mike Morhaime helped found Blizzard. He's one of the 3 original founders. So if anybody could, after separating from Activision, bring back that Blizzard magic, it's probably him. But let's see what he actually has to say.
Hi, my name's Mike Morhaime. I'm CEO and co-founder of Dreamhaven, former CEO and co-founder of Blizzard Entertainment, and super excited to talk a little bit about Dreamhaven, what we've been up to.
I hope he makes an MMO. I think him making MMO would be legendary because he has all the experience, all the knowledge. He made the original classic as we know. He was part of the reason it even got off the ground. He could hire people like Chris Metzen and bring back so many people that helped make World of Warcraft so iconic and create a new MMO. I don't know if he ever will because of the budget and time and money necessary, but it would be amazing if he thought about doing it.
After leaving Blizzard in 2019, former CEO and co-founder Mike Morhaime announced a year later that he had founded Dreamhaven, a games company that is the home to multiple game development studios. At GDC, we sat down with Morhaime to talk about a few of the company's games, like Wildgate and Sunderfolk, as well as how Dreamhaven got started, how things are run, and much, much more. After almost 30 years at Blizzard, what did you hope a fresh start with Dreamhaven would bring?
So after leaving Blizzard, Amy and I just kind of took some time to brainstorm what we might want to do next. And we also just got to talking with a lot of other folks, and the idea of joining forces with some of the people we loved working with, innovate, to create games they're really passionate about, to give them the space to experiment, and kind of everybody being aligned around this philosophy that success follows when a number of things line up. Great experience, care about the players, care about the environment we're trying to create with our development teams. You know, and so five years later, we're really happy to have several games that we're really proud of that we think are really fun.
I will say it's kind of interesting, like he won't even talk about it, but based on what we've seen in interviews, even for example, in this book right here, Jason Schreier, Play Nice. And in this book, you literally learn about so much Blizzard and what happened and all the problems and the conniptions that led to people like Mike Morhaime leaving. And one of the big things was, he was essentially forced out by Bobby Kotick. Effectively like a power struggle. Because what's funny is Warcraft 3 Reforged, as many people know, Warcraft 3 Refunded, was a game that had a huge potential. It was meant to be Warcraft 1 and 3 fully remastered, with Warcraft 2 being fully remastered later on as a DLC or as an expansion. What we ended up getting was Warcraft 3 Reforged, because the moment Mike Morhaime stepped down, or essentially was forced out of the company, Bobby Kotick gutted that entire development team, fired 90% of the employees, cut everybody, and then sent it off to a different company in a different country. It's why Warcraft 3 Reforged had no soul, no passion, no drive. It's why it looked so weird. It was an Unreal Engine-esque like lack of flavor and touch, because Bobby Kotick never cared. A lot of Blizzard's faults do lie a bit with Mike Morhaime, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the problem was him fighting against Bobby Kotick and continuously losing and being put on the back edge over and over again. So seeing him separate and own 100% of his own company, no venture capitalist, no nothing, he has 100% ownership of Dreamhaven. There's a reason for that. He doesn't ever want to have what happened to him at Blizzard happen to him ever again.
When players see the Dreamhaven logo at the start of a trailer, what do you want it to communicate to them?
I want them to see a company that really cares about the experiences that it's creating. Our games are very different from each other. So there's not like a particular genre or a particular experience. I think what they have in common, they're all really fun experiences that add something to the genres they're playing in. They're great experiences to share with your friends, you know, and I think that the underlying core philosophy is we believe very strongly that games are a very powerful medium that can bring people together in positive ways. And we all love sharing games with each other, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. So hopefully Dreamhaven means high quality experiences that you can share.
Can you talk about
the old style of Blizzard, where Blizzard game, when you saw that logo, you knew you were getting the gold standard of video games. You knew you were getting that quality game, regardless of genre, that was going to slap, be fun, and be amazing. And I do love that he is trying to recapture that drive that Blizzard used to have, that quality, that connection to its player base. When Blizzard launched the game, you knew from the get-go it was going to be amazing. And Blizzard hasn't had that magic in a long time. So maybe Dreamhaven will.
your emphasis on multiplayer cooperation and connection in your games?
There's so many games, so it's super hard to paint games in like a single brush. There's definitely, you know, with Split Fiction and It Takes Two, this clearly a market for games that you can experience with others. There are also a lot of solo games. I don't want to get boxed in to say that Dreamhaven would never do a solo experience, but I think it would have to be very, very special of an experience for us to go down that route, because our bias is games that you can share with others.
What are Secret Door bringing to the RPG genre with Sunderfolk?
Secret Door is a team that is super passionate about the feeling you have around a board game table, which is qualitatively different than I think what we've been able to capture in video games. So there's something very special about sitting around a table with your friends and playing board games. There's also something very special about tactical RPGs. There's a super big barrier to getting into some of those experiences that really prevents many of us from even having that. And so I think that they view Sunderfolk as a love letter to the genre of tactical RPGs and leveraging technology in a way that takes down all of those, eliminates all of those barriers and makes it so that you can just, anyone can sit down with their friends and immediately get into gameplay.
How does Sunderfolk capture the
I will say, like, it is nice that they're trying to be innovative game design, innovative direction, not trying to just do a copy pasta game that's just not great and it's following trends. They're trying to set trends here, which is what Blizzard used to do. There's going to be a lot of comparisons to Blizzard because this is Mike Morhaime, one of the co-founders of Blizzard and the founder of Dreamhaven. You can see that he's taking a lot of inspiration from Blizzard's iconic era of what made them world famous and trying to do it again. Even with the fact that they don't want to do single player games, not that they never will, but multiplayer games are how you capture the magic of community, of fun, of bringing everybody together to make a game that hits a large base. I'm not saying massively multiplayer like MMOs or League of Legends, but he's trying to make every game be somewhat multiplayer. And essentially every Blizzard game to this day has, for the most part, been multiplayer. It's had multiplayer in it.
Tabletop experience, and what makes it special?
I think it's sort of new territory to be able to use the power of your phone, which is a super powerful computer. You can do all sorts of stuff, high-res display, touchscreen. We've just begun exploring how to use that as an interface into a game. And so I think we view this as kind of a new way to play, that maybe this is the first of many experiences.
Is Wildgate an extraction shooter, or is it something else?
It has elements of extraction shooters. It has elements of battle royale. It has elements of FPS. It's got a little bit of all these things. It's got different roles that you can play as members of your crew. And so you can kind of focus on the areas that you really like and still feel like you're contributing.
What kind of worlds are you looking to invite players into?
I think each of these worlds is designed to be immersive in its own way in support of the gameplay. The artists have done a great job in each of these games to sort of create something that's unique and appropriate to what the game needs it to be.
What lessons from your career have you learned, and what are you doing differently with?
It does have me excited for the future of Dreamhaven. He says a lot of the right things. He says a lot of the things that make you excited or passionate about what's coming, about the content, about the quality. But like, part of me just feels a bit like hesitant because it feels like it's too good to be true. Not that it is too good to be true, but it feels like part of it is too good to be true, because if he can deliver on everything is promising, we are looking at a second Blizzard, a second golden era Blizzard. I'm trying to protect my feelings and my hype from another cycle of disappointing companies, I guess is the best way to put it. Not that Dreamhaven has failed yet.
Dreamhaven.
One thing that pretty much all of the games have in common is the path to creating a game is a bit windy. It's not like you have this vision in your mind and it plays out exactly like you thought and everyone loves it. Usually there's a lot of challenges along the way. There are a lot of things that don't work exactly the way you intend, and so there's just a lot of iteration that happens, a lot of iteration, experimentation, changing things that don't work, and I think you have to be willing to do that and embrace the windiness to get to a spot that is maybe better than anybody could have anticipated. That hasn't changed. I think it's super important for that windiness to be supported. And of course, everybody wants to get to the end faster, but rushing to the end of the project and not fixing some of those things along the way ends up with something that maybe nobody is proud of. The last time I started a company, it was with three of us right out of college. We had very little experience. Alan, of course, was the only one of us that had experience shipping games, but he had no experience running a game company and, at the scale that we were trying to do. And so it was a learning experience the whole way. This team that we started Dreamhaven with is a very experienced team. We've worked together for many years, but we've all been involved in multiple successful projects with large teams. And so that's just very, very different in terms of the experience of our leadership team. And I think that has allowed us to hit the ground doing more complex things right off the bat.
I will say Dreamhaven has launched to a degree where every game they've done so far has hit the market it's aiming for really well. They haven't gone for any major genres or any major top tier games as of yet. Right now, they're just trying to build up their team, the development capability, the production output. And as a company, a lot of the people that work at Dreamhaven, a lot of its leadership is ex-Blizzard leadership, other companies, Riot Games, this or that, where they've just hired the best of the best and are letting people create because they're more, I guess he's more concerned with making a good company and good development and good passion and drive right now than he is in trying to make money. Because he's a multi-billionaire right now. So I don't think money matters to him as much as creating a company where he can make passionate projects and passionate games. Which if I was a billionaire, that's what I would be doing as well. But he is a billionaire, so where's the MMO, Mike? Where's the new World of Warcraft?
What does supporting the windiness of development look like?
I think what it looks like is flexibility and adaptability. And instead of sort of viewing the need to be flexible and adaptable as a failure and feeling bad about it the whole time, it's just accepting that some amount of flexibility and adaptability is a strength.
The Dreamhaven website says that the company wants to reimagine the studio model. What is it about the traditional studio model that needs reworking?
Well, I think what can happen is there's a disconnect that can form between the developers, the people creating the games, and the people on the business side that are trying to achieve whatever the spreadsheet says that needs to happen. And we're trying to approach this recognizing the whole time we're all on the same team. We all want the same things. And so it's more of a partnership than a feeling that somehow the development teams are subordinate to the business. The things that make
That is the best thing he said. Because in current Blizzard right now, in current Activision Microsoft, the developers are subordinate to marketing, advertising, to the business guys. And in this, the game developers are equal to the marketing guys. So the game developers actually have a say in the product instead of being told what to do. They can literally push back against marketing, push back against advertising and say, that's a bad game, that's bad design, we're not doing that. Find a way around it. And marketing can't tell them, do this or else. Marketing literally says, okay, we'll figure it out. And that is the biggest thing that old Blizzard had that modern Blizzard does not. It is the beauty of not being a publicly traded company. It's one of the best things for Dreamhaven is, at the end of the day, the only shareholder who matters is Mike Morhaime and his wife. Nobody else's opinion is relevant here, aside from Mike Morhaime going, ignore the budget, ignore marketing, keep making this game, I love what you guys are doing, I don't care if it loses money. This is passion and I want to see more of it.
Make Dreamhaven unique, experience of the leadership team, the fact that we were able to join forces together and create maybe a more stable environment right out the gate so that the development teams can focus on the creation of the games and not be as distracted by some of the startup uncertainty that often happens.
Do you think
That is amazing. Like, that makes me so excited for Dreamhaven's future as a company. Because Mike Morhaime sounds like he cares. Everything I've heard about him says that he was a guy that cared and was distraught that Blizzard slowly losing its magic over the time. And slowly losing that ambition. And you could see with how many of his projects kept getting cancelled and cancelled and cancelled that it was wearing at him being at Blizzard. It's also why Chris Metzen left initially as well. Because of the marketing and the Activision people. So right now, I am really happy that Mike Morhaime is trying to recapture that Blizzard magic. I don't want to give him too much hype and too much hope, but he's saying all the right things. He's saying all the right things that the community wants to hear.
I think the industry has lost ambition over time?
Look, the games business is a difficult business.
Sure.
I think the larger companies tend to face a lot of pressure to do things that are more certain. And what's more certain than iterations of things that have worked in the past? Being smaller, not having a core business to protect, we're in a situation where we can be maybe a little bit more experimental. You know, as I say this, like, the games business is so diverse and you can't really paint it with a single brush, and there is a ton of experimentation that is happening, and it's just very challenging to break through right now and get attention because there's just so much competition.
What are the Dreamhaven shared values?
Before he talks about that, I do want to say he's not wrong in the sense that it's why a lot of companies don't write those checks. That's ambitious. That's a cool new idea. But that's a $50 million budget that we might not get back. So I'm going to say no. But here's $100 to go make the next extraction shooter. Here's $100 to go make the next Fortnite clone. Here's $100 million to go make the next this and this. You saw this with World of Warcraft and MMOs back in the early 2000s and 2010s, where every company was making MMO because they saw the money the big dogs made. And right now we're going through that with the FPS genre and, like, you know, the Fortnites, the League of Legends. But you need that passion, that ambition to create new genres, create new fields in the game industry. If everybody keeps trying to make the same copy of the same game, nothing's going to really work out. So he is right that there's a lot of ambition, there's a lot of creativity, but not from the big companies. It's almost always from smaller indie or mid-sized companies.
Things that we value are around producing high quality entertainment and experiences. We value the experience our players have with our games. We want to stand by our products, and we're committed to continuing to iterate and evolve that experience over time. And I think that there's just a belief that if you do those things out of a care for the experience our players have, out of a care for the environment that our teams have and are working in, that will lead to successful business strategy over time.
Well put, Mike. Well put. Early Blizzard was exactly like that, where they let the creatives cook, they let the people design, let the people make magic. And over time, as it got more corporate, we saw retail, modern retail. And now Blizzard's fixing itself slowly under Microsoft because it's such a small portion of Microsoft's revenue that they don't care. But the fact that he started his new company with those ideals from the get-go, from the beginning, the ideals of letting the creatives make things, make good games, try to be passionate, shows that he understands why games are popular, why games do well. It also makes me hope that he makes a big IP out the gate. Because like you said there, Adris, MMO needs a big popular IP to work off. You can't just create an MMO from nothing. I mean, you can, but you have things like Ashes of Creation, which is kind of struggling for people to care. So if they get a big MMO, like a big IP, like a Warcraft 3 essentially off the ground, and then they make an MMO based off of that, we could get a genuinely amazing product, a top tier situation where we're all happy, we all get to experience something, and the content, the games that we want, and perhaps even an MMO that we want in the future.
What are you most excited about working on at the moment?
Well, this is a very exciting time for us. We've been very busy working on these games, getting to the point where we can see, the light at the end of the tunnel to be able to release the games and have players around the world experiencing them, hearing the feedback about their experiences. That's super exciting. We've all been playing these games and we're super proud of them. We've been having a lot of fun. So I know these are very good games. At least we think so. So we're excited to see what everyone else thinks.
I will say, Mike Morhaime, you got me excited. You got me interested. I'm not exactly interested in any of the games he's made so far, because they're not the kind of games I'm interested in personally. But every time he unveils a game, I'm excited to see what it is, because you can see the passion he has, the desires he has, the dreams, the drive, the content he's making, the games he's making. There is genuine love for what he's designing and what he's creating. And that's what the gaming industry needs. Will I play every game he makes? No, but I'm going to try a lot of them. I'm going to try them out, see if they're my kind of games, see if they're interesting to me. But I hope in the near future, he makes a game, an MMO, a RTS game, a single-player RPG, or a multiplayer RPG like Baldur's Gate 3, that can thrive in the current gaming industry and can put Dreamhaven on the map. At this moment, it's just an ex-Blizzard dev company. I hope it becomes the next big golden ticket company, like old Blizzard, like modern-day Larian, like CD Projekt Red. I believe in what Dreamhaven's cooking, and I want to see more. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. This was recorded live over on Twitch. I'll see you guys there at Ebonheart TV on Twitch. Peace out, everybody.